Welcome to the Business Spotlight series. My name is Kay Cote, and I'm your podcast host on today's episode. And today we have Ian Singer, CEO and President of Library Pass, as our guest. And today we're going to be talking about his business, his journey to business ownership, and what it really takes to own and operate a business. We may cover some challenges, best practices that he's learned, and just really cover the basis there. If this is your first time on our channel, be sure to like and subscribe to get notifications when we drop episodes like this. Welcome, Ian. It's so great to meet you. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you, Kay. Nice to meet you as well.
Well, let's dive in, Ian. Tell me a little bit about yourself and share a little bit about Library Pass.
Sure, I appreciate that. I'm actually based in central New Jersey. I've spent the last about 20 years, I hate to say it's been that long, working in the library market, providing a variety of goods and services to vendors, publishers, and librarians who service K-12, public and academic institutions in the United States and globally. I have a not so young family anymore. I'm very active in my community, serving on my library, having served on my library's board of trustees, active in my religious affiliations, and doing a lot of just general social action charity work to raise money for special needs children all the way to mentoring inner city school children. So that is kind of my description as a whole.
I love that. Well, thank you for sharing a bit about yourself. Let's dive in deeper and tell me about like Library Pass. Like, what is your why behind Library Pass?
That's a great question. And so I just gave you my kind of my arc, and a key component to the why behind Library Pass is having spent years as an executive working in private equity owned companies in this market, again, the library marketplace. When I was approached to turn this thing around in 2020, right before COVID, what really appealed to me were the following attributes as related to the product. One, it had a large corpus of graphic novels, comics, manga, content and materials that students and patrons really want to read. And the model that we had, we were working only with publishers who we call library friendly, meaning all of the content in our primary product, which is called Comics Plus, is available under a simultaneous access unlimited use model, which means that classrooms, reading clubs, everybody can take out the same book at the same time. There's never a hold, never a wait at the library. That also makes the library look good. And then the affordable pricing, because I'm the CEO, my investors don't really know so much about the library market, and there's good and bad to that. Not having a knowledgeable investor group that knows the market you're serving can be a challenge sometimes, but our engaging content with our access model and our pricing is really why we do what we do. And I mentioned some of my personal values. Also, what attracted me was I would be able to finally lay over a culture at Library Pass that reflected my highest values, and that's about accountability, it's about integrity, and it's about respecting each other and not taking ourselves too seriously.
Oh, I love that. Those are some great core values. That kind of like brings me to my next question about your team. With the company, have you developed like what's the culture behind your team and how many team members do you currently have?
Yeah, so I'll start with the easier question, which is how many team members. When I first started in 2020, there were just 5 of us as 1099 consultants. You fast forward, and effective December 1st, we now have 23 full-time staff, and I anticipate bringing on one other marketing specialist before the end of the year. In terms of the culture, it's difficult because we are 100% remote. We came out of COVID, right, as I mentioned. And as a result of that, we don't have any fixed assets, meaning no office space, nor will we ever. Because we're dispersed all over the country now as a result of that, it makes keeping a culture hard. And so what I do, in terms of having a regular type of cadence with the entire team on Slack, we start the week off with what our top 3 goals are and any issues we have, and we end the week with how did we do against those goals? And I track all of that. We have monthly staff meetings where we report on key KPIs, and I give my senior leadership team the ability to talk to the entire company. I have a quarterly look back for the entire staff and where we're going moving forward over the next quarter, or as far as I can see. And then I have a monthly senior leadership team meeting. That plus then every month, my team nominates one person who they believe has gone above and beyond in the month, and we offer a $250, just award. We call it a no holds, playing on words with no holds at a library. Well, no holds award, and we do that on a monthly basis. We try to do, holiday cheers coming up, so we're going to be buying each other books and Secret Santas or Elfsters or whatever it's properly called these days,
Mhm.
and buying folks lunch and giving them some swag from the company's store, and then also buying, a $250 gift. We do what we can as a small company. And then lastly, I enable summer Fridays. So, we really do try to take care of people's health, their overall emotional well-being. As I said, we try not to take each other too seriously, but we all really do believe in the mission of providing access to content that kids and students and patrons really want. And working with librarians, come on, you really can't beat that job.
That sounds incredible. That is super cool. Thank you for sharing about your business and about the culture, especially working around those, hard, kind of the a little sometimes can be a pain point of an all remote team. So to kind of keep that pulse on the culture and keep the company doing really cool things, I really appreciate you sharing that. Kind of diving into another question, looking at your marketing, you have this great business. How are you telling folks about it? Are you using social media, word of mouth, a little bit of everything? I want to hear all the good details.
Well, so in one of my previous incarnations in this industry, I was the group publisher of Library Journal and School Library Journal, which are the gold standards of magazine and events in the library market. And so I worked with a variety of library vendors and publishers who were also trying to get their products in front of the librarian buyers. So I say all of that only because my current chief marketing officer was also my chief marketing officer at that point in time. That's to say, we know how to market to the librarians that we're serving because we used to get paid to do that. And so it takes a while in any market, but the library market in particular, librarians are very smart. They're information specialists, and you have to, even with early adapters, you have to prove your product lives into its commitments and its how you sell into it. And so what we do a variety of things now, particularly that we're kind of scaling up to a point where we have enough resource. We attend state and national conferences. Texas is our largest single state customer for K-12 public and academic libraries. So we attend the Texas Library Association trade show every year, in addition to annual trade shows. We do email campaigns that come out of our own list that we've developed over time, plus also through partners such as Library Journal or School Library Journal or the American Library Association's trade magazines. We do our own webinars where we've had some really successful webinars on how to program with comics, graphic novels, and manga, whether it's public library reading groups or at schools, clubs, where hundreds of attendees. And look, you get one customer out of that, and it's more than paid for itself, which is wonderful. We do social media on LinkedIn primarily. We try not to overexpose our librarians on social media. It's just, you have to be careful of who your audience is. And with our distribution partners, we do have some distribution partners who help us sell into, even though we have our own direct sales team now. And we partner with them with either webinars or at their trade shows, whether we provide them collateral. and or online demo support.
Wow, you guys are very active. I think that's like a notable, very notable what you just said, because I think other businesses can definitely take away from that. Like you guys are doing a multitude of things, and that's really great to tap into different audiences. And
Yeah,
so,
it's 100% an integrated content marketing strategy for sure.
definitely. Well, kind of looking back at your career within the business up till this point, can you share maybe something you guys went through? It could have been like a struggle, a challenge, something that you were faced with that you overcame, and how did you do it?
Yeah, yeah. Where to begin? So I think, well, look, it's the struggles of a small business, and this is my second go at it. I mean, I started my career as a co-founder and an entrepreneur, and so in between that, 20 plus years as a private equity owned senior executive operator, going back into could be my final chapter of my career as an entrepreneur gives you a lot of perspective.
Hmm.
And the key challenge I think that we had to deal with was in Q1 of 2023. I recognized that our distribution partners, at that time, we did not have a direct sales team. And our distribution partners had clearly reached their critical mass for the low hanging fruit, I'll call it, within their customer base.
Hmm.
And that, coupled with their continued inability to provide me with accurate pipeline reporting on what they projected they were going to be generating for us, made me really think about the ultimate break from our distribution partners by building our own sales team. And so that took about a full year and a half to really implement. And now we're going into 2025 with a chief revenue officer and 9 other staff, all 100% sales related.
Wow. Um,
And we are now our largest source of sales. We've taken over from even our best distribution partner. We are now, we're in the driver's seat, controlling our own destiny with new business development.
oh, I love that you said that. Can you dive in deeper about what it takes to really be in the driver's seat in your business?
Well, I mean, so smaller companies have a challenge in the industry that we're in, because it's costly to hire a sales team.
Mhm.
And rather than do that out of the gate, I mean, this may apply to almost any market, but ours in particular. If you're able to partner with uh, value added, not just, hey, we're going to sell your product for you, because these distribution partners have a lot of other products that they sell. So what makes you differentiated within that? But if you need to get past the early adapter stage in terms of proof of concept for investors, or even if you're self-funding, rather than build your own sales team out of the gate, you get with a good distribution partner who really believes in and will put effort behind your product. That will validate whether you actually have a business model that you can then scale. And that's what we've done. I didn't make that decision overnight. I saw the data, the financials, the year-over-year performance.
Mhm.
And by the end of the second quarter of 2023 is when I started putting job descriptions out and began hiring a small group. And I didn't bring on a CRO until the beginning of this year. So
Mm.
you make incremental steps, but the key really was the decision to build ultimately a direct sales team came on the foundation of initial and substantial success with third-party distribution partners.
Mm. Wow, that is really insightful. I took some notes there because I just feel like that's something, listeners can really listen to this a couple of times and gather a lot of information out of that, especially when it comes to like distribution partners and like how to strategize growth in a way that's not gonna run you over, but to enhance what you're building. So I really appreciate that.
Yep.
This has been such a fun conversation. I want to dive into a new part of the conversation, which is our rapid fire questions, which is
Okay,
4 questions that I'm going to ask where you answer top of mind. Are you ready for some rapid fire?
sure. Let's see if my old brain can handle it.
Yes, of course. You've got this. The question number one is, what is a key to success for you?
Integrity.
Mm,
It starts, I believe, fundamentally, the most valuable capital any company has is human capital. And if you do not have the right team, starting with leadership, running the company, you could have a tremendous product. At the end of the day, it won't matter. That's my opinion.
I love that. And what is a key point for success for other business owners?
Well, you have to know your market, right? If you don't know, and meaningfully, I mean, you can look at, oh, my market size, for example, in the industry I'm in, the library market is bundled under the educational technology umbrella, which is a huge market. The library market is not that huge. So you really have to know your product's market fit, and you need to have a very clear plan for where you want to be going, knowing full well that you're not going to get there in a straight line. So understanding your product market fit in a market penetration analysis framework. I plan to get to 35% market penetration, and that's a win. I'm making that up. That's what you need to have, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. No, that's huge for sure. I love that. And you're gonna love this next question, I think. What is a book you've recently read that has inspired you?
Well, so I tend to a little bit nerdy. I majored in history. My hobby is reading presidential biographies, and every one of them is just they're all amazing people, even the ones who you might question. But the one that I just recently finished was a John Meacham pictorial biography of President George Herbert Walker Bush,
Mm.
and his commitment to service and his understanding of what power is meant to do, which is to serve, uh, just totally transformational for me and very inspiring, particularly now in this time of our country. Man, we could use more folks like him again for sure.
Definitely. Well, that is really cool too. Well, thank you for sharing that. And our final question in rapid fire is, if you could wave a magic wand and rapidly overnight change one aspect of your business for the better, what would it be?
Of my business,
Mm-hmm.
um, I would turn it to a not-for-profit.
Okay.
I
Uh,
mean, and the reason why is we serve the library market, which is not a growth market in terms of their budget. It's provided by state, local, through COVID, federal taxpayers. And as a result of that, it's a zero-sum game. If a library subscribes to my product, that means most likely they're not going to have to the assets or the money to subscribe to or keep another product. And so as a result of that, the marketplace has been flooded with private equity dollars. And because of that, price increases are really making it very difficult to compete and providing uh, unequitable access to valuable products. And so
mm,
if I had the wherewithal to cut my prices in half because it didn't matter, I would do that.
mm, that's powerful. Thank you for sharing that. Before we get to our final question of the day, how can people get plugged into your project and find you online?
Right on. So you can look me up on LinkedIn, Ian Singer, but librarypass.com is our corporate website. And through that, you can get to our primary product, which is called Comics Plus. It's comicsplusapp.com. And we'd love to hear from you.
Well, thank you so much, Ian. For our final question of the day, what is most inspiring to you today?
Today, oh,
Mm.
I actually had a very interesting emergency room scenario last Sunday. I'm fine, I'm okay. Being very grateful to my family for their support, my colleagues at work for their compassion and commitment to what I do. And this might sound really corny, I'm very grateful to be living in the United States of America.
Oh, I love that. That was very inspiring to me too. Well, thank you so much, Ian. It's been such a joy to have this conversation today.
My pleasure, Kay. It was my truly, truly my pleasure. I appreciate you reaching out.